Alright guys, so today we're going to tie another fly. Um, Also I have a new setup here. I'm using my actual DSLR camera, so hopefully the quality of this comes out better and we have no issues. So let's see what we can do. So this is just a jig streamer. It uses like 4 different materials. It's pretty quick to tie. It's your standard um, rabbit strip, pulsator strip, whatever you want to call it, with a little bit of Senyo's dubbing baked into it. And then lastly, which again is not really necessary, I just love to use this type of feather on all my flies, is I have a hackle wrapped around of mallard in the front. Just kind of adds a nice kind of mottled look to that brown. And again, mallard flanks probably one of my favorite materials to use in any sort of streamer. All right, so what we're going to start with here is a Arex size 4-hook jig hook, and we're going to slap a 4 mil tungsten bead on it. So that was a black one. Let's do a copper one. Now, I will say that I make these very heavy. If you're fishing these right, you're probably going to lose a lot of them. That's what makes it great. It's a pretty simple fly. It's not complex. Little material. And you need to get them where the fish are, around structure and deep pools. Right? That's why what I do is you have the 4 mil tungsten bead, plus we're also going to do a couple wraps of 030 lead. However, from doing that, that's going to make it very, very, very front heavy. So we're going to offset that a little bit by doing 10 or so wraps of 015, pretty much across the entire back to middle half of the fly there. Okay, it's going to make it sink and perform more level in the water column. It's still going to jig, don't get me wrong. It's not going to basically go face down. So just wrapping the rest of this lead around here. And there you go, you can see we have the bead plus the 030, I think it was, and now the 015. Put a little dab of super glue on there. Again, this Gorilla Glue here, the stuff here is incredible. It's like $4. It's gel, so it brushes on real easy. It cures instantly. I don't even use, when I use this stuff, and I really only use it for streamers, but I don't even use what am I saying here? I don't even use whip finishes. There's no point. It instantly bonds the thread, and you're not. So there's no real point to even bother. I am using 6/0 uni thread here, so hopefully I don't break off a crap load of times during this video. I'm just too lazy to put on my Vivus 10/0. But let's try to be careful and see what we can do. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to dub the body up. So material number 1, we're going to use let's use this Ice Dub Peacock, right? So this is a nice golden sparkly color for the body. Ah! Well, there's a piece of broken thread, and I'm going to regret just not using the right thread here, but I think this uni thread's old too, so it doesn't really help. Let's try again. About halfway up. Keep going. I like to make this a really buggy section of body, because you'll see when we brush it out a little bit, it will it'll help kind of saturate the fly and blend all this in with the zonker strip or rabbit strip, whatever you want to call it. You don't really have to go all the way to the head of the body, but the head of the fly, but it doesn't much matter. Depends if you just feel like doing it or not. Okay, so there's that. Next up, we gotta prep our strip here, and I already did. So I cut a section in length that's appropriate for this fly. And how I do this is probably a little bit different than most people that tie them in with wire or mono. What I like to do is do it upside down. So what I mean by that is I'll turn the fly upside down. I'll line it where I think it needs to be, where I want it. Okay. And then I'll put a mark where I want it to sit on the hook. Should be about here. Okay, take my marker. Mark that on the bottom of the shank, or on the shank, the strip here. Let's double check. And then I'll pierce it, bottom side of the skin. We'll pull it through the hook. Okay. And then I like to mount them upside down like this. So it's actually pierced through the skin. And then we're just going to pull it tight. We're going to add a little bit of glue on the underside of that skin. But before we do that, let's help brush out this dubbing to get that color that we're looking for all blended in from this peacock, or whatever this dubbing color was. You see, it really makes a nice buggy, filled out body there to bring downward. Right now, let's add our little bit of Gorilla Glue here on the back part of this hide, skin here. Don't need much, literally just whatever comes off. And then pull it tight, pull it up, make sure it's level on the underside of your fly. Press it down, and then cinch it off. Let's see if we don't break our thread off of this. There it is. Love it. Should just be using the right thread, but that's what you get for being lazy. I really hate 6/0 uni. Whether this thread is just bad or what. It has no strength at all. Alright, so there's that. Just put in a whip finish real quick, just to hold this here. Alright. So we have now half the fly. Alright, now what we can do is I'm going to use the Senyo's laser dub in, what is this? Sculpin Olive. Nice color. And we're just going to build a little bit of the body on the underside here. So I'm going to take a decent pinch. Align all the tips. Cinch that down up top. Like so. Pull it back a little bit and try not to break our thread. Let's brush it out. And that Sculpin Olive laser dub blends right in with the body of that peacock or whatever it is. I said it was. Don't even remember. Doesn't matter. Right? And that just looks really good. Alright. Now what we can do is we can add, just building up kind of a flat head here. We can add a mallard flank feather. But actually before that, what we'll do is we need to take a little bit more of the rabbit strip material, and we're going to use a dubbing loop, and we're going to kind of give a collar, fill that front half of the fly out. So take the same strip. I have to buy more of these. And we just need like an inch long section. Nothing crazy. Something like this. And all we're going to do is make a dubbing loop. Dubbing spinner, put that in the loop. So I guess for lessons learned already for the second video here, I need to zoom out a bit so you can see more of what I'm doing. Not only just the fly. So I'm just trimming off the hide or the skin off of that zonker strip. Then I'm going to lay that flat on my table. We're also going to add a little bit of black marabou to that. have our materials here. And I'm just going to trim back half of that, get all that fluff off. Now we're just going to put it in our loop. Okay, so it's in our loop. Trim some more of the back half of the fluff. Okay. And now we're just going to spin it up. Do a couple spins. Going to brush out some of the fibers lightly because you don't want to brush out the materials and have it all fall. Spin it a couple more to get it wound up. Alright. Now we just gotta dub the collar. So I'll take this next little tool because it's a little bit easier to work with. Bring all the fibers back, wet your fingers a little bit, bring them all facing back, and we're just going to start bringing it around. Alright, we got the collar. Let's add a little super glue on there. Make sure it's not going anywhere. Less is more with the glue, just like pretty much all the materials if you're ever tying flies as well. So that's not going anywhere. Alright. Now what we want to do is add the mallard flank, and then I like to put a little puff of dubbing at the end to kind of cover that up. So just brush it out a little bit. Alright, we'll color mallard flank. Let's use kind of the whitish brown in the last one. Let's do something a little different. Try this dun color. Alright, so we got a morning dun colored mallard flank feather here. Let's get rid of all the fluff, all the junk. That's the tip. We have a tie-in point. Just tie that in by the tip. I like to fold the tip over. Okay. Alright. Now what I'll do is, it's real easy. Same thing per usual for any kind of palmered feather. Stroke all the fibers back, and I'll push it with my finger, right? That way they all lay nice and even. Unfortunately, this stem's a pretty thick stem, which is not ideal for what we're doing here, but see if we can make it work. Let's see what we got. Whip finish. Let's put our glue on. That'll never go anywhere. And let's finish it with a little bit of a collar. Let's use the same dubbing that we did previously. That's it. That right there is a killer little jig pattern.